Hello. Morning.
I need to go and look at
So the goal the whole time is to use the physical object, in this case a tree, and use it to help you maintain the feeling of swimming, like the feeling of flow state. So it could be a tree, it could be water, it could be a stick, like it could be circular motions, like spinning, having something move in an oscillatory or a spinning motion will make it easier. You can use that spinning motion as a crutch, the same way that I was using the tree, to help maintain the balance and maintain the connection to like the inertia of the moment. You could even use like a very intense idea or belief or goal. That mental motion of the belief provides like a structure that you can kind of hang on or push off of to keep you in it or with it. So that tree can be replaced with anything. Like I like to do it with water, and the pressure of the water presses down, on my lungs the same way that I was pressing off of that tree. And then pressing off of the tree in that way was letting me just stay integrated, to use like my entire body, to use my spine, to use whatever to move, like to do like hip exercises or whatever, and just kind of stay in it, stay in the water of the body, stay in the inertia of the body. And so you can use like just a stick, a crutch, any sort of aid. And that's what weights do. Like you couldn't flex your muscles, you wouldn't be able to get into your muscles as well without the aid of extra weight. And so like if you see how drastically contact with any material object amplifies like your psychic abilities, we'll call it. It's like you could and you can, and it helps to like have so much balance that you don't need a cane or a crutch or whatever, but if you understand balance, like at any point, like usually having a cane or a crutch or something to lean on or push off of is going to improve your balance. Like no matter how balanced somebody is, like a tightrope walker will do better with one of those big long bars, even though they can do it without the big long bars, probably for a little bit. So the same is true for like everything. So whenever you're warming up or whenever you're doing anything, it's like a lot of people go into like, oh yeah, don't use any implements to exercise or whatever. But like once you understand what you're trying to do with exercise, not using implements seems crazy. And the implements can be like very simple, like water, trees, sticks, whatever. But it's like, you're like a tool user trying to accomplish something, like you're immaterial, trying to move the material. So it's like the immaterial can't really be anyway, you want to be doing as much as possible, but you also want to be using as many tools as possible in a way that's like healthy. So primitive tool use is absolutely essential for every aspect of life. I don't know, from farming to like exercise to yoga, prayer. You know, everyone uses like a prayer rope or prayer beads. They help you keep count. Right, that's a huge aid in like a psychic ability. Like just by picking up a prayer rope and you have like 108 beads on it or whatever, think of what that does. Think of how developed your memory would have to be in order to keep track of that while you did a mantra or a prayer. And then you pick up a prayer rope and suddenly your memory is so great, you go, I'm on 78, I'm on 79, and you don't lose track, you don't lose focus for the whole thing. Right, so there's like simple little tools like a rope with knot in it, like can expand your memory and your attention, your focus like 1,000-fold, right? Like make it 1,000 thing prayer rope, and suddenly kind of kinesthetically, you know exactly where you're at in this number sequence thing that you've done. And so the same thing's true for the water as it is the sticks or any other implement. And then if you build technology that like, I don't know, totally removes you from the process, like just if you get removed from the process rather than it enhancing your process, if it takes your skill out of the picture mostly, then that's where you get the technological soul deadening or the overcalcification. But like at a base level, if everything's in order, I think technology is like appropriate, like hair and nails and bone, like these hard things. But if any of those processes get out of control, you get like calcification or hardening where you're not supposed to. Or like like imagine like if you get a couple of people exercising and whatever, pick your way, and you go, okay, I know the game, right? You know the game that you're trying to do with a stick or a tree to maintain balance, and then like instead of competing with the other person directly or whatever, you have the goal of like the other person's trying to keep you in the flow state, to keep you balanced, and to do whatever that takes, which might mean being interesting, being competitive, being like just anything that keeps you like dialed in and not like disassociating from the moment, like a partner. So that's like doing perfect, you know, like bicep curls against the other person holding a rope, like things like that, where you can keep the perfect amount of strain for longer and longer and longer. Obviously, like another person helping another person is going to be able to do more usually. I mean, if they're both trained, you know, two people can do a lot more in terms of like multiplied mindfulness. But if a person like isn't mindful, isn't skillful on a certain level, then the more skilled person ends up like having to carry them, and it becomes like a burden. So you can't see in groups where there's people that are like drastically different skill trying to do a high level activity together, it almost doesn't really even help to have the higher minded thing in the group. It seems like it doesn't really work. But if you get everybody on the same page, then you get like Cirque du Soleil, right? Like imagine like a Cirque du Soleil guy paired with just Joe Blow off the street and they're doing trapeze. Like, disaster. It would be more of a disaster than 2 Joe Blows off the street, because they probably wouldn't even think to swing out. But like one high, one low, then you kind of get group functions that aren't even as good. But if you have people playing the same game and trained, to any degree that any sports team would be, you can help each other be incredibly mindful to a degree that's like hard to appreciate that until you see just how incredibly mindful everyday objects can enhance your consciousness. Then you'll be like, whoa, what could a person do? So a person can like absolutely wreck you, or a person can absolutely enhance and synergize your skills. You can learn from them, they can learn from you. They can steal from you, they can give to you. And that's probably true of all beings, all consciousness, everywhere. And it's